What if you want your automation to run every morning, every hour, or after a delay? This video will show you how. Make.com gives you full control over when automation runs, scheduling, delaying, throttling, all important for advanced workflows. Let's explore them. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Also turn on the notification to be notified whenever we post our videos. Why timing matters. Automations need precise timing to match business needs, whether it's a daily report at 8 a.m. or a delayed follow-up email. Controlling when scenarios run ensures efficiency and reliability, saving resources and avoiding errors. So you need to know what your required business model needs in order to hit the efficiency of your workflows. Now let's try to explain how you can schedule your scenario. So for a start, I'm going to click this create scenario. So we are trying to create a new scenario afresh just to show you how you can schedule your scenarios. So I'll click on create scenario. Now this is just going to be a random scenario where we just want to explain some couple of things. So to kickstart this scenario, I'm going to start with a Google Sheet. So which is just basically for me to watch new rows. So we're just going to add that just for testing purposes. So now let's do the proper setup. We are going to select the specific spreadsheet ID. So choose file. So I'm going to be using this spreadsheet. So I'll select the spreadsheet ID. So the spreadsheet name. So I'm going to be clicking on store orders. So this is a sheet we created in one of our videos when we're learning about webhooks. So we created this sheet to help us store orders that are being sent via the webhook. So we are going to select this. Now the table contains headers, yes. So the limit is 1. You can use any limit though, but I just want to work with a single limit here. So I just click on save. So the next thing to do is to choose where to start. So we are going to choose where the Google Sheet should start from. Is it from the first ID or from a specific number, or is going to select all depending on your choice? So we're going to start from a specific ID. Okay, we're going to click on since specific ID. So what ID are we looking at? So we are starting from ID 1. Okay, before I click on ID 1 also, let's look at the sheet itself. So this is the store orders. So if you are starting from ID 1, it means we are going to pick the next one, which is 2. So that's how it works. So we type 1 and we save. So now, what do we want to explain here? We want to explain how to schedule your scenario. So to schedule a scenario, you are just going to click on this schedule part. You can see currently by default, it will schedule every 15 minutes. If you turn this on, it's going to, okay, the scenario is not saved yet. Okay, if I save this, if you turn this on, it means that every 15 minutes, this scenario is going to run. But let me put it off. Let me close this. So now if you want to actually schedule your scenario, you are going to click on this. It's going to give you all the options you have in order to schedule your scenario. So now run scenario. This is where you determine how you want it to run. So now if you click on that, it's going to give you all the options we have at regular intervals, which is the default one. So the regular intervals is in minutes. So it can be 1 minute, it can be 2 minutes, it can be 15 minutes as it is here. It can be every 1 hour, it can be every 30 minutes, depending on your choice, depending on what you want to achieve at the end of the day. So you have to be strategic and ensure that you don't over schedule. That is, you schedule based on what you need, not randomly. Right. So the next one is once. If you do this once, it means your scenario is going to run just once. So you can decide to set the date. So it might be you want it to run once by tomorrow at a specific time. So depending on your choice. So other options we have is every day at a specific time you want this scenario to run. Maybe every morning you want it to run at 8 a.m. You set it that way. So every morning, 8 a.m., it will keep running. So that's how it's going to work for you. Then the next one is days of the week. So we are going to look at the days of the week you want this to happen. Is it Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Friday? Or you just want Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday? Or you want Tuesdays and Thursdays? So depending on your choice, you are going to select that and you are going to identify the time you want it to actually run. So the other option we have is days of the month, which is more like the specific days. So this one you are selecting some specific days of the month. So you are going to select the specific days of the month. So this is going to run continuously for different months. It will keep running for those days. So once it's the 2 of March, it will run. Once it's the 2 of April, it will run. That's if you actually selected day 2, right? So that's how it works. So the next one is specified days. So we are going to select the month you want to use and you select the days of those months and you select the time. So that's how this thing works. So the next one is on demand. On demand is as it comes, it happens. As it comes, it happens. So that's how it works. So that's how you schedule your scenario. So you have to actually check which one of these actually meets my business logic. So if it does not meet your business logic, then it is not important. So you need to actually do things that meet your business logic. So that way you are doing the right thing. Okay, so that's how you schedule your scenario. Pause with sleep mode. Introducing the sleep module. The sleep module pauses your automation for a specific duration. Use it to delay follow-up emails, space out API calls, or wait for external system to become available. Simply add the module and set the desired pause time. The sleep module is just for you to wait for a certain time before performing the next action. So that is what it simply means. So let's go into make.com to show you how you can do that. Now, remember this sheet is just for us to have a scenario up and running, right? So without adding a module, you wouldn't be able to schedule the scenario because there's nothing to schedule. So now, let's say after getting the list of orders from this sheet, you want to wait a certain time before performing the next action. So that is where the sleep module comes in. So if you click on the plus button, you are going to be able to add a new module. And the module we want to add here is sleep. So let's put on that. So now this sleep module is helping you to delay your scenario before moving to the next real action. So now note, must be a number between 1 and 300, which is in seconds. The number of seconds for which the scenario execution will be suspended. So if you put 1, it means 1 second. If you put 5, it means 5 seconds. So the maximum is 300 seconds, and 300 seconds by calculation is 5 minutes, right? So it means that you can use this module to delay your scenario for a maximum of 5 minutes. So what if you want to delay for 10 minutes? So it means you are going to use the sleep module twice. So let's try to do that. So for 5 minutes is 300 seconds. So you save that. So if you want to delay again, you add another extra sleep module. So you click it again, you do the setup, another 300 seconds, which is also 5 minutes. So now you are delaying your scenario for 10 minutes. So it means when you run this scenario, this Google Sheet will fetch the necessary record, then it will pause for 5 minutes, then it will pause for another 5 minutes before performing the next action. So that's how it works. Throttle to respect limits. Understanding throttling. When integrating with APIs that have rate limits, throttling is essential. Use sleep modules, array slicing, and scheduling to control the pace of your automation and avoid hitting API rate limits. Now, the essence of throttling is for you to ensure that you don't hit the rate limit set for a specific API. So rate limit means for a specific time frame, there is a number of requests that the API can accept. Some are limited to 10 requests per minute. Some are limited to 100 requests per day. So depending on the kind of API service you're using, you need to understand the rate limit of such API and know how to handle your workflow. Sleep for API compliance. If an API allows only 10 calls per minute, add a sleep module to pause for 6 seconds between each call. This ensures your automation stays within the allowed limit and prevents errors. So with this setup, you'll be able to align with the API restrictions and you will not perform more than the required number of requests for a specific duration. Hence, your workflow will work smoothly. Array slicing for batch processing. For large data sets, use array slicing to process data in smaller chunks. This reduces the load on external system and helps you stay within rate limits while maintaining efficient automation. Imagine getting a data set from your Google Sheet and your Google Sheet is returning about 30 outputs and you need to push this data to another system. Now, throwing all the old 30 data to this system, depending on the kind of workload that is to be done, you need to be very careful in order not to overload the external system. So what you need to do is to slice this data. That is, instead of taking the old 20 or 30 data, you just need to take the first 5, run it, take the next 5, run it until you exhaust the data. Scheduled throttling. Schedule your automation to run during off-peak hours when API limits are less restrictive. This allows you to process more data at once without overwhelming the system or hitting rate limits. This is very simple and direct. So knowing when there is an off-peak hours allows you to take advantage of this period to ensure optimum performance of your automation system. Auto retry shaky APIs. Some modules in make.com can automatically retry failed API calls. This feature is crucial for dealing with unstable APIs, ensuring your automation remains reliable even if the external service experiences temporary issues. Depending on the kind of module you are using, whenever an API call fails, there's always this retry logic, which allows you to automatically retry the API call whenever it fails. So this way, when a failure happens, there's an automatic retry. So this allows your automation to work efficiently whenever there is a failed API call. Now, retry logic benefits. By enabling retries, you can set the number of attempts and the delay between them. This prevents your automation from failing due to transient errors, maintaining smooth operation and reducing manual intervention. Now let's head back to make.com to make a simple API request. Now to continue this scenario, I'm just going to add a new module. To make a request, we are going to look for HTTP module. HTTP module. So this HTTP module, there are different options. We have the one to download the file, the one to resolve URL, and the one to make a request. So since we want to make a request, we are going to hit on make a request. Now, before we continue the setup, let me walk you through the API service we are going to be using. So we are going to be using a free open source weather API. So this is the API platform we are going to be working with. So let's just click on try the API here. So it is free. So we just want to do a random testing. For this API, we don't need API key. Some API service will require you to register, get an API key before you can generate your API URL. So in this case, we are using just the free aspect. Let's look at the necessary setup you need to do. Now, the time zone, you select your time zone. So I'm going to be selecting Africa. Your location, I'm going to be choosing Lagos. So this one now is going to give me the data for Lagos. So here you can select the specific variables you want the API to return to you. So we want the temperature, the weather code, you can select that. The rain, we can select that. Just select random things here. So daily weather, weather code, the sunrise, sunset, rain, sun. So just select all those things. It's just for us to make a request. You just need to select some few things. So all these are okay. So now let's concentrate on this part. Usage license. So it's either it is non-commercial, so which is what we want to do here. For non-commercial, only for non-commercial use and less than 10 daily API calls. So it means that you cannot make more than 10 API calls per day. So instead of per minute now, it is what per day. So if you are making API calls, it cannot be more than 10 times. So if you are using this kind of API service, you need to know how to structure your scenario so that it will not exceed more than 10 API calls within a day. So we have the other option, the commercial, which you have to pay for. That one you will need an API key. Self-hosted, that one too is a different one. You know how to do that. All you just need to do is come to their documentation and get the necessary information. So we are using the non-commercial. These are the kind of API response for different programming languages. So the most important part, after selecting every necessary thing we need to select, we go to where we have the API URL. Okay, I think I already passed it. Okay, this is it here. So I copy this API URL. So this is what you need after selecting every necessary things you need to select here. That is what you want the weather API to return to you. After selecting them, you copy your URL. So let's go back to make.com. So you paste the URL here. Authentication, no authentication. If there was an API key, you are going to select API key, then you proceed. So no authentication. It is a get method. We want to get data from the API service. So the body type, it is empty. We don't need to pass any data to the API. Okay, that's all. Then you click on save. So at this point now, I just want to run this module only to get the response. So I left click and click on run this module only. Let's see what happens. So this is successful. So this is our input. We have the URL, the get method and the likes. So now this is the output where we have the data. So inside the data, you can see the latitude and the longitude, then every other information. The time zone is Africa, Cairo, hourly unit, time, temperature, weather. So these are just the units. So now the hourly, we have time. These are the different times. So this is how you make an API request in make.com. So I hope that was very easy and straightforward. Timing best practices. The first thing you need to note is to avoid overscheduling. Don't run everything every minute unless absolutely necessary. Overscheduling can lead to unnecessary operation counts and increased cost. Instead, use instant triggers when available and schedule tasks only as frequently as needed. Now, to complete this, I'm going to share my experience. So there was a time I created an automation which was for my YouTube channel. In the specific video, I set the scenario to run every minute. But unfortunately, after creating the scenario and making the tutorial video, I forgot to turn off the scenario. So every minute, the scenario triggers. And within a short time, I exhausted my available credit in make.com. So this is how your scheduling logic can cost you financially. So you need to be very, very careful in order not to over schedule. So you have to be calculative and know what your business logic actually needs for that specific scenario. If it does not require you to schedule every minute, please don't schedule every minute. You need to be strategic and think logically. Add delays for safety. Always add delays between API calls and other critical operations. This prevents overwhelming external system and helps you stay within rate limits. Test your automation thoroughly before activating schedules to ensure everything works as expected. So as you can see, we added sleep modules to help us wait for some specific time before performing the next action. So this can be utilized depending on how your scenario is structured. So knowing when to use what and how to use matters a whole lot. So guys, we have come to the end of the video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification and like this video. In the next video, we will explore make.com templates and how to use them to build automations 10 times faster. I'll see you in the next video, guys.